Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. In this week's Parashat Vaetchanan, the Torah uses the word Shema, to listen, on many, many occasions, whether it's you shall listen, God did not listen, or many other times he uses the word listen. What does it mean to listen? There's a difference between hearing something and listening. When you hear something, someone's speaking to you and it's sort of there in the background, goes in one ear, out the other, that's it, done. But to listen means to concentrate on what's being said, to understand and to take in what is being told to you. And which Shema do we know in this week's parasha so famous as the one we say twice a day? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Listen, O Israel, Hashem is our God, Hashem is one. A sentence that's known by everyone, Jewish, young and old. The last thing we say to a child before we put them to bed, the last thing we say before we go to bed is Shema Yisrael. One of the first things we say in the morning is Shema Yisrael. The first thing we teach a child when they can speak is Shema Yisrael. And the last thing we say with a person before they pass on is Shema Yisrael. So much so, there's a very famous story of the dying Grunfeld after World War II. This story is verified with two sources. Number one, dying Grunfeld told a rabbi who I'm very close with this story. The story goes like this. During World War II, lots of Jewish parents would send their children to Christian nunneries, to orphanages, to be looked after, hoping that one day maybe they'll be reunited. And as the war progressed, many of these parents were killed during the Holocaust. After World War II, having heard about what had happened during the war, dying Grunfeld took a Dutch soldier with him and went round from nunnery to nunneries, from orphanage to orphanage, to look for young Jewish children. And he'd knock on the door, and one of the sisters would come, open up, and say, I'm looking for children, Jewish children, that were sent here during the war. Do you know where they are? Oh, do you have any? And more often than not, the door was slammed in his face. The soldier who was with him put his foot in, pushed the door open, gathered all the children together. And dying Grunfeld stood among the children. How does he know who's Jewish, who's not? An idea came to him. He started saying, Shema Yisrael. And all the Jewish children finished the sentence, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Those were the Jewish children. And as this rabbi was telling over the story in his community, a man came to him and said, I was the son of that soldier. Verified from both ends. Amazing story. What's so incredible about this sentence? What makes it so meaningful? That we say it's part of our culture, that we know it so well. Shema Yisrael, listen to Israel. Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem is our God. We have many worries in life. Some people worry, would I be able to have enough money to last me to the end of the month? Would I be able to find a job to support my family? Others may worry, will my business which just started do well? Will it sink? Will it do well? Or will it go bankrupt? Will I become bankrupt to do this? Others may worry, can I buy my 200 million yacht this year, or do I have to wait till next year to buy it? We've all got worries to some extent. But if we realize Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem is our God. Hashem runs the world. Hashem runs everything in it, from the flutter of a bird's wing to the splash of a wave at the seaside. It's all controlled by Hashem. Our lives are run not by ourselves as we might like to think it is. They are. Rather, Hashem is in control. Hashem is our God. Hashem looks after us. Hashem takes care of us. Hashem looks over us and makes sure bad things don't happen to us. And if we realize that, we don't have worries anymore. We can remove all our worries. We can unite ourselves with our God, with our King. Hashem Echad. We say in the Torah, Hashem is one. We say every day in the end of our prayer service, on that day, Hashem will be one, and his name will be one. On which day? On that day when we realize that Hashem is our King, that Hashem looks after us, that everything else is almost irrelevant in this world. On that day when we realize that we don't need to worry so much, we don't need to be in control as we think we are. We can take a step back. On that day, Hashem's name will be one. God will be one with us, and God will be one with this world. And that's what the importance of this sentence is. The realization that we don't need to take the front foot always. Sometimes we can sit back. Let Hashem take control. Let Hashem be with us. Let ourselves be one with Hashem. Shabbat Tov, everybody.